we have a place to finish over here in the in the Inyan and Tefillin. It's a little bit complicated. We finished off yesterday on number Rish Peites, and he's going through various different ideas of how you can come up with Olam Haba versus La'asi Levon. And we'll just finish this out here, and it says a Rish Peites is high Alma, so there's this world of the El Bi'arno Shat Tefillin the Rebbeinu Tam Shehem Mochin the Abba. So they're going to be the top type Mochim Heim the Kwayim Mochin the Alma the Asi. That's, I guess, the future world. However, the Tefillin the Rashi Shehem Mochin the Ima, he says the Heim Mochim the High Alma. That's this world. That's this world. So that's a kind of juxtaposition of the words. Shuhu Olam Zun, which is the world of Zun. The Zun they Kwayim Hal Alma, they represent this world. But the Tefillin the Rashi Shehem Mochin the Ima, Heim the Kwayim Mochin the Zun. So that's what they're called. I'm just going through this nomenclature he's going, and maybe it's important. But the Tefillin the Rashi Hagavuros Shi Hanuk Reshabet Nuk. This is what we're saying. In this world, the Nuk is at the bottom. Yoshev is tachas a dacher, she's underneath the dacher canal. So that is specifically, that's Parshas Shema, Kodems the Parshas V'hoya im Shema. So specifically he said all the different parts there, and now let's go to a different stage. So this is the blurb at the top says, a beer be'inyan tefillin de Rashi v'Rebbeinu Tam b'sod shem avaya. So how does it work out like that? So we have the name Avaya, and we have another name. Nizbayer Echa Tefillin de Rebbeinu Tam Heim B'Sod Shem Yud K Vav instead of Yud K Vav K. Bezos Nizbayer B'Tam. So this way we're explaining this. Ma'adura B'Tefillin de Rebbeinu Tam Siruv Shem Havaya, who is this way. Yakak Ko. I don't know how to pronounce it. So at any rate, Shehem Chachma Bina Gevuros V'Chasadim. So this is a reversal of the last two. So I want to explain this, a different technique in explaining it. So he says, Shaharach the Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah, that Parsha, Shehi Gevuros, which represents Gevuros, Kodem is the Parsha Shemash, which represents the Chasadim. Now, this goes into some concepts here. He says the Mochin, let's see, where was it? Avavach the Tefillin Shal Rashi, Shehem the Kroim Mochin the Ima. He said, Heim Sod Yud Ke Vav Ke. But the Tefillin the Rashi, Atziruf is Chavaya who Yud Ke Vav Ke, consider it. Shehem Chachma Bina Chasadim Megavuros, that's the way, as we saw with this concept, that's the way of this world. Shahari Parshas Shema, Kodem is the Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah, because there you see the Chesed becomes, the Chasadim come before the Gevuros. Amnam Kol Shar Pratim ain't a Hefresh Bein Tefillin the Rashi, the Rebbeinu Tam, and all the other things except that these two, everything's the same. B'kol Shar Pratim Shal Mochim V'Halabushim, B'kol Seder Hishtalshlus Ad Shena'asach Tefillin, ain't Chiluk Bein Tefillin the Rashi, the Rebbeinu Tam, the Tefillin the Rebbeinu Tam, ki kol hachiluk bein Tefillin shal Rashi Rebbeinu Tam, who rak legabe hataras itra de gevuros. Shabbat Tefillin the Rashi heim akre chasadim, but Tefillin the Rebbeinu Tam heim lifnei chasadim. Now this is the same. So he's re-saying the same idea, but a little slightly different words. Od Yirtza, now if you want to say, I could say like this, V'yesh no tam no, so there's another reason, if name Mahat but the Tefillin shel Rebbeinu Tam, that is the Gevuros heim lifnei chasadim. He said, Ki Gevar Yudata, this principle, Zivug Abba V'ima, who L'tzorech Zav V'nuk, L'seis L'chem Amochim, so the yichud that's take place up above is to bring Mochim into Zun. So he says, Gavonis Matras Hazivug Shal Abba V'ima Hu L'tzorech Zun B'kedei L'seis L'Zun Mochin, in order to be able to bring Mochin to Zun. So which is to say that's the reason why you have a yichud. What are the Mochim? It goes through the Mochin here. He says, הם חסדים וגבוros. המוחים של זון הם ארבע שהם חוכמה בינה חסדים דdas וגבוros דdas. Hanikra trin itrin, which are called the two crowns. Now he was talking before about trying to get the idea of what the crowns mean, what the word that words means. So he chasadim dadas gevurus dadas neichem nikram trin itrin amnam chachma babina hem letzorech zah. So he says shuhu zocher. Okay. So he wants to say that you have four mochin, and the first two mochin are for the purpose of building up zeranpin, parts of zashu, parts of docher. So the first idea is that giving birth to the concept, to the male concept. So that is to the male. So that he says like this, that when a woman gives birth to a son, he mazras techila. And this is an idea that we see in other places. Mazras techila. He led his zocher. She gives birth to a male. Now I'm trying to think, what does he mean by mazras techila? So I'm thinking this means mayim nukvin. So the mayim nukvin perceives the mayim duchrin. You produce a male. So Kamosha Amar Isha Kitazria Oz V'Yol Dezocher. That's the best I can understand when it says Isha Kitazria. V'im came to the Chen Kedei Lahoda. This is their anpen Shuhu Zocher. So therefore it has to go like this. In order to produce a male, Nimsa She'ima Azria Techila. So therefore, in other words, it has to be coming from the bottom. So therefore she will originally the mayim nuchvin will precede the mayim dochrin. Kedei laholid as a zashu huzacher, in order to give birth to zah. It seems like this gets a little bit complicated, and let's go on. The tipas hamuach hanikra bina. So now bina, that mocha, those mochin. Oh, kasheima mazras, when she produces her seed. He mazrias as tipas mucha bina shehi gam nok v'hi mismol. And so what does she do? She in order to do that the female, which is the left side, has to she gives first the seed, and then she says that the mucha bina is female, and therefore it's on the left. Mazrias as tipas mucha bina b'yisoda b'sod man. So now here it is. He does say it's at mayim nukvin, and so it's going backwards or going to reach the male. She's stimulating the male. This is that all the holeda of female of the male comes when the female is in mayim nukvin first. I'm not sure exactly how that works. So he says, but when that happens, then Abba gives her this tipa, which is masculine. The male tipa, which is the right side. So because of the stimulation of the left, the right side comes and produces the male aspect. The Gavar Noidech Bisvara Shechain Hu, that in fact we heard hold in other places, and what is the number has? I don't see it. So anyway, so he says Shahaniknas Rishon Yotze Achron. So this is a word that the word comes first, comes out last, winds up coming out last. So I guess this is like what comes first is the mayim nukvin. And then she has to follow, that is, a female follows after the male. Something like that. I don't know. Shaniktas rishon shuhu muach habina shuhu harishon b'chazroa kasher hu yotzech b'chu achron. When she comes back out, though she's going to be behind the other side. So he says the male side. Achrei muach hachochma shuhu hasheni b'chazroa, because that would be the second one. So this is a kind of reversal of ideas, is that the first one causes the second one to come out, and the second one comes out first, and then the first one that is the female, has to come out last. Okay, so therefore that's how you see the first thing that is born out, which I guess is the yud, so then therefore that gives birth to the muach of chochma. Shu Parshas Kadishli. So he touches it on to that's actually what the Parshas is that Kadishli refers to Chochmah. May be interesting to analyze that and see what's Chochmah about Kadishli. I don't know. Parshas Kadishli Romezes Lemuach HaChochmah V'Hayotze Rishonah. So that's the one that comes out first. V'achar kach, and then after that, V'achar Shenoided Muach HaChochmah Shu Hashnei Nazroah, which is the second one to be planted, let's say. Nolda Rabina. Then Bina is going to be after that. Az Nolad Akra V'Mocha Bina Shuhu Rishon Chazroah, although even though that she was the first one that stimulated this whole process, like that. Shehi Parshas V'Hoya Kiviyacha, so that she is then Parshas V'Hoya Kiviyacha, so you have Kadishli V'Hoya Kiviyacha. So basically there's no argument there, but Parshas V'Hoya Kiviyacha romezes the Muach HaBina. So this really is a reference to the Muach HaBina. About Trin, Itrin, Shehem Chasanim Gevurah, but what about them? That was the first two. That was Chochmah and Bina, so we understand how it is that Chochmah comes out first, because everything really, the ball really starts at the bottom, which is the place of the nook. Trin, Itrin, Shehem Chasanim Gevurah, so the Shnei Itrin, Shehem Chasanim Gevurah, the Das, Gevurah, the Das, Chasanim Das, Gevurah, the Das. Heim the Tzorach Nuk Dazah, they're for the purpose of the nook of Zeranpin. They go to Malchus. So he said, puts them both together, which you could see that because they're dinim and then sweetening the dinim, something like that. That they actually comes out of Abba Ve'ima, so then these are going to go to the Zun. And specifically, they're going to build up Malchus. So when you, let me see, who Mazriya Tequila. So he says that when in the birth of a female, that is the male that it starts the stimulation. So it's hard to get a good word for that. So his seed comes first. So that is the Mayim Duchrin. It's going to be the first part. Then she's going to give birth to a female. And so therefore we see that now we're giving birth to a female. That's a sign that the man gives birth first. Now, where are we going here? We're trying to say, why do we have two Ks in a row? Why does the second K, or the last K, in the case of Rashi, become the third one over here? So he says, let's see like this. V'im came, so if that's the case, v'lechein gam chacha b'zos shenolda nekeva. So here, when she's giving birth to a female, nimsa she'abach desriya techila. Ki kedei laholid mochin lenot tzara kazachon laharbe techila. So he asked the lazriya techila. Muach hachasadim shehudacher. It has to bring first the muach of the chasadim. So then the dacher has to start first. V'acher kach, and then after that, Hazriya ima muach agavur shehunoks, and then she follows after that. So that's how this goes. So now it's time to give birth. Now, okay. Parts of a nook. The female will be born first because she was created by the action of the male. And as a result of that, she's going to be first in line. That she comes in last. And she's the second one to give birth. Now, I don't think I really understood that. So So the first thing is born out is the muach of the nook. Why? Because she was the last one to go in. So therefore the last one in is going to be the first one out. She's the second one. She's going to be the second one to, I guess, a Shnia Lizriya. Shuhu Gevura, which is Gevura. So therefore, when she's born, she's really the Gevuras Adas. So he says a Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah. So he says Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah romezes the muach agavuras the dad v'hi nolda Rishayna, that she gives birth first, or she comes out. She is born first. V'achakaf, because the only thing I understand, I don't understand how she's first and second. I kind of missed that a little bit, which was inside. Let's see. Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah will come to Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah romezes the muach hagavurus the das, because the male is mazriya to begin with, and as a result of that, she follows after that. So she first is the male, then the female comes in because of the stimulation of the male, and that makes her in the second position. So therefore, she's going to come out first because she's going to be, I don't know exactly how this lineup works. He nolda rishayna v'achar kach v'achar shon nolda b'parshat v'hoyim shemoah. So then after this, when she's born, v'hoyim shemoah muach hagavur dedas nolda dezachar shu hasedis. I think I got this a little bit off. So after she's born out, and she's parshas v'hoyim shemoah, shenola the zachar shu hachesed, and then after that the male is going to be born out. Oz know that the zachar shu muach hachasadim shel das shenola acher muach hagavur shehichanuk, which is born after the muach hagavurus, which is the nuk. So he says the parsha Shema. That's going to be the last one. Parsha Shema romezes the muach hachesed. Shenolat acher parshas v'hoyim shemoah shehi muach hagavura. So he said, "V'shin kaf bat vav ve'elo hem ha-tefillin v'ramochem ha'ladocha mechumezet b'tefillin k'savaras Rabbeinu Tam." This is what he says. V'zeh shenolat hagavuras lifnei hachasadim. So here in this case, because of the stimulation of the male, the female is born out first. Romez ala Tefillin shehem k'sefaras Rabbeinu Tam. So this is understanding in some way of how it is that the Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin come this way. So first you have the concept, and I guess so. Let's go on the v'chasiva hiziv zu. This is the reason. V'chasiva sheparshas v'hoyim shemoah kodem is the parshas Shema. Ka'amor is like we've been saying, kevin hayuledes nekeva, so that one who gives birth to a female, who is by the action of the male beginning, which is Mayim Dochrit. So therefore we see that the tipus of the Chasadim come first. But the thing is like this, Haniknas Rishon, that is the male, Yotza Achron winds up going out second. So therefore the Gavuros go out first. Shehin Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah, which is Parshas V'hoyim Shemoah. V'achakach Yotzim B'chasadim, and then after they come out the Chasadim, which is Parshas Shema. Okay, so that brought us to the end of a little bit complicated for me because I couldn't see exactly how they were loaded, but I guess it's a simple equation. If the male starts the ball rolling, it's going to produce a female, and then the female is going to wind up being first, and that's the last K being juxtaposed. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the Sifra Ditzniuta, and we have just what to do, going to overlook the next piece.